In this lesson, students are discussing and creating box plots, dot plots, and discussing the process of how to create a histogram. And in the exit slip of this first day of this lesson, it's a 2-day lesson, I asked students to look at this set of data and determine would a dot plot, a box plot, or a histogram be the best graph to represent the data above. Well, a dot plot is supposed to be used for a small data set. This is a fairly small data set. It's starting to become a little bit large, so it's a little spread out on the dot plot. But I think the dot plot shows more of the distances that people travel to work more accurately. If you actually did it in this format, you could actually do the histogram in the same format as I did the dot plot and just make them bars instead of dots. So that also would work. Below you can see the box plot that we created. It's definitely just a summary that maybe it shows 50% of the people travel between 3.5 and 13.5 miles if you look at the box, and a minimum of 1 mile and a maximum of 18 miles. But it's a summary. It's not very accurate if you're trying to look at specific data points. And you can't see specific data points in a box and whisker plot. The dot plot definitely is more accurate because you see every data point. I try to make a histogram with them showing, well, if we did intervals of 3, it's not very helpful because it comes out to, in the interval from 0 to 3, there were 4 people that traveled in those distances, 3 to 6, including 3 in that next interval. It would be 4 also, and 6 to 9 also was 4. And so if you wanted to see the average that people traveled, which ones were about the same, the intervals work. But if you didn't want to see an interval of distances that people traveled, then the dot plot would have been more accurate, depending on what you're wanting from the data. You also could have made the histogram in sets of 2 instead of in intervals of 2 for the width of the bins instead of 3, and that would have made it, or even just a width of 1, and then it would have looked exactly like the dot plot. So a histogram, you can make it look different according to the data by using different widths of those bins also, which would have been helpful. So it depends on what you're looking for from the graph of which one you would want to use. As long as students explain that to me and the reasoning behind it, that was fine.